Welcome to our new God's Love for the Unlovable and Gospel Rant series format. We're calling it Vagabond Diaries. We want it to be fun, informative, but also life-changing, something that people would find valuable to pass on to others, laugh and cry a little bit, get some dialogue going. It's different from the typical biblical scholarly perspective on previous series. This is going to be telling biblical stories in a new way so that hopefully we have new eyes to see them. We're not beyond sarcasm, made-up characters, mockery, political insights were needed to get the powerful biblical gospel point across. As always, the philosophy is to proclaim God's love for the unlovable, the unloved, and the unlovely. I want to read a chapter from my second Christian fantasy series for 10 to 16-year-olds, The Storyteller's Tale. Hey, it's getting close to Christmas. You certainly want to buy the whole series, the whole trilogy for all of the 10 to 15-year-olds in your family and in your church and your community. It's been favorably compared to Chronicles of Narnia. It's getting really good reviews. Adults are giving me good feedback as well. Beneath the storyline, the tale is about the journey of a troubled girl who had to endure parental abuse early on and just hasn't been able to move past it. She didn't know how, nobody's spoken to her. And of course, like many teenage girls, she just sort of bottles it up as a secret, right? Pretty much every 10 to 15-year-old girl on the planet. So how do you deal with those early wounds? How do you forgive? So our protagonist, Berenice, is going to need help. And by the way, so many teenage girls and boys are hiding deep, dark secrets and are afraid of those things coming out. But they don't have a quest to find relief. Berenice does. So welcome to God's Love for the Unlovable and Gospel Rant. So we're going to pick up in the middle of chapter 1, the storyteller's tale. Hello, Mother. Ready? If you happen to be walking on the Secret Cove's rocky beach in the wee early hours on that particular Saturday morning, you would have likely witnessed two medium-sized dinghies, each with a single lamp hung at their bow, gliding silently through the dark shallows. A single sailor rowed each skiff surrounded by 4 or 5 others at the bow and the stern, all but one dressed in black. The one lone person dressed in white with a dark hood covering their heads sat in the bow of the lead boat. If you were there that night, that is what you have seen. But you wouldn't be at Secret Cove's beach, would you? Simply because it was a secret cove, a carefully guarded secret in the daytime. And again, you still wouldn't be out there. But theoretically, if you had found the secret path to this secret pool of water, you would be surrounded by tall, impenetrable cliffs, 360 degrees around the entire shallow, oblong stub of water. I shouldn't be telling you this because it is a secret, and the more people who know the secret, the less valuable it is. Do you know what I mean? But you look trustworthy, so listen carefully. You must agree to tell no one. Scout's honor? Good. There are only 2 ways to get in and out of Secret Cove. On the far southwest corner, there is a single secret mountain path, rather small and dangerous, that directs skilled, experienced travelers on a series of precipitous, narrow, elevated switchbacks onto a more or less unobstructed but short mountain pass, also relatively obscure, I would add, which takes you to a hidden trailhead ending quite near the broader, more public road to the King's Palace. Like I said, it's pretty much a secret. Dozens of travelers pass by this unmarked trailhead daily, and so far, none have discovered it. Also, if anyone detected the secret path, it wouldn't go well for them because someone set dangerous traps throughout. It's hazardous, so I would avoid it if I were you. The other way to access the secret cove is to sail in. You can't tell up close, but the northern shore of Secret Cove is a large breakwater, maybe 100 yards or so in width, covered with high rocks and a scattering of tall trees, easily capable of hiding ships' masts. The breakwater, in turn, also serves as the southern shore of another more extensive and less secret cove. The locals refer to this one as Pirate Cove, mainly because only pirates have the shallow draft ships able to traverse these depth-challenged waters. Skilled pirate captains can sail their small or medium-sized sloops or brigantines right into Pirates Cove with confidence that larger Royal Navy warships will not chase them there. If need be, they can disappear even further around the secret breakwater into Secret Cove, and of course have secret access to the king's palace. The lone individual clad in white, face hidden behind the thick, dark hood, was the two-striped royal storyteller Berenice. Now disoriented and thirsty, early on, after her assailants kidnapped her, she feared for her life. After a while, when no one acted threateningly towards her, she relaxed and tried to piece it all together. Berenice sat carefully on the bow's hardwood seat as the sailors pushed the dinghy out into the dark water. She soon realized, or had a pretty good guess, where she was and who had kidnapped her, but she had no idea why. The two dinghies ended at the port side of a medium-sized brigantine anchored in the shallow waters of Secret Cove. A single lamp at the ship's stern lit up the boarding net for the sailors to climb. Two robust sailors assisted Berenice, who was still totally blinded by the hood. It was all done very quietly and professionally. Eloquist paused his narration and sat across the table from Jeremy in the hard wooden chair. Scribe, leave some room in the book. Later tonight, please go back and remind the listeners what happened at the end of the tale of the unlikely prince. Under 1,000 words. That should be sufficient. Can you do that? I'll check it in the morning. Jeremy nodded. Jeremy scribbled note. Here are the details of Berenice's horrible kidnapping that occurred not that long ago. Berenice, the royal storyteller, was narrating the tale of the unlikely prince to a packed standing room-only audience in the king's vast ballroom. The tale is a very popular one about an insecure prince who wanted to prove his value and worth to the king, so the king sent him on a great quest, an unequaled quest. The quest led him through battles with many dragons, spiders, bees, and even a village of very awkward so-called others. I won't tell you more because if you haven't heard the tale, you should check it out. The tale has two main morals. First, all quests are not the same. We all have quests. Some say our lives are just one quest after another to prove our worth. And second, this king, the great king, and creator of all quests, good and bad, is not at all what he appears to be. Berenice was in her mid-50s, graciously full-figured, giving her a grandmotherly appearance. Her silvery hair, tied up in a neat bun, contrasted beautifully with the lovely, expensive black gown she had chosen for the event. Everyone loved Berenice. When she sat on the stage to tell the great tales, her warm, round face lit up the auditorium, her brown eyes shining like stars amidst the dark palette of her skin, and her confident demeanor radiated possibility and curiosity. She was special. If you asked anyone, they would have said they didn't know anyone more whole, more complete, and more comfortable in her own dark skin. Or was she? That evening, the crowd sat in raptured silence until Berenice, the gifted storyteller, took a deep breath, looked up at the audience, and graciously shut the ornate leather book, proclaiming with a broad, endearing smile, "It is finished, the end." The crowd broke out into a great roar, everyone on their feet, clapping as hard as they could. Huzzah, huzzah, huzzah for the unlikely prince and the royal storyteller Berenice. It was a special moment for all in attendance, men, women, boys, and girls. I decided then and there that I would be up on the stage one day, king willing. But then the worst happened, and here's how it was recorded in the tale manuscript. If you have read it already, feel free to skip ahead. Suddenly, shadows appeared on the high domed glass roof, arching high over the royal stage. If the crowd had been quieter, you would have been able to hear the faint sound of footsteps echo through the night. These mysterious masked people had chosen the roof as their entry point, utilizing their skills in stealth and agility. They were clad in weathered, tattered garments adorned with trinkets and weapons that gleamed in the moonlight. The first thing anyone noticed was a powerful explosion ripping through the glass dome. Shattered glass showered upon everyone as men, women, boys, and girls ran for cover. It was unbelievable, unimaginable, and incomprehensible. A violation of everything that marked a truly civilized society. This is not to say there was no crime in the kingdom or that everyone treated everyone else with kindness and equality. There was indeed a hodgepodge of ruffians, hooligans, bullies, and thugs. Pirates and pirate ships roamed the distant seas of the kingdom, illegally disrupting shipping and commerce. The king's troops had long attempted to end their chaos, but with little success. But not in anyone's memory has anything as brash, crazy, or invasive as this occurred. Without missing a beat, the scoundrels secured sturdy ropes to multiple anchor points at the edge of the roof. These ropes were thick and well worn, likely having endured countless adventures and daring escapes. Each brute fastened a harness around their waist, attaching it securely to the rope. One by one, they stepped onto the edge of the ceiling, their hearts pounding with anticipation. With calculated movements, they leaned back, placing their trust in the rope supporting them, and quickly they began to descend, using their hands to grip the rope and their feet to control their descent. As they rappelled down, the masked invaders showed remarkable agility and fearlessness, effortlessly maneuvering their way along the rope. Their movements were fluid and precise, betraying years of experience and a close affinity for such clandestine affairs. They were clearly professionals and knew exactly what their dark assignment was tonight. They approached the ground with a controlled descent, their boots touching the stage with a soft thud, never taking their eyes off their surprised single target. Two of the larger assailants roughly grabbed Berenice, put a dark hood over her head, and then disappeared the very same way they came. This happened so quickly that no one moved to stop it. Well, what could they have done anyway? Even the king's trained guards were caught totally flat-footed. Surely the evening went from exhilaration to shock and despair in only a few moments. What happened? Now, what was to be done? The king would launch an immediate investigation and a rescue, but how and where? The next day, there was no sign of the assailants anywhere. There were no eyewitnesses to trail. The king sent soldiers to the port to see if there was any evidence of pirates or pirate ships. No one had seen hide nor hair of anything resembling buccaneers, raiders, cutthroats of any kind. As of today, there has been no ransom request or explanation. It's a mystery. Jeremy's note. Dear Eloquus, here it is. Let me know what changes you would require. It took under 800 words. Thanks. More than adequate. Approved. Signed, Eloquus, Storyteller, Senior Intern. In Eloquus speak, that meant good job. That was pretty effusive for him, actually, I suppose. No one chooses to work for Eloquus if they also want constant feedback. Eloquus continued his tale. The pirate ship Vengeance cast an imposing figure against the first gleams of early morning light. She was a proud brigantine, a medium-sized vessel with 2 tall masts and a bowsprit about as long as the ship. Though inactive at the moment, the foremast would soon be rigged with a large square sail, and the main mast will have a gaff-rigged mainsail and square rig above it. Pirates favored brigantines because they were fast and easy to control, designed to sail in shallow waters where heavier warships could not follow, and large enough to do quite well in sea battles. The Vengeance was a 150-ton, 80-foot vessel able to carry as many as 100 pirates, but normally there were only 60 or so. It mounted 6 cannons with a cargo space about twice as big as a sloop. At the bow, the forecastle sat higher than the rest of the upper deck to give the pirates a good view of the battle and act as an excellent platform to board taller ships. The dank, dark, humid, cramped, and quite aromatic crew quarters were immediately beneath the forecastle. The Vengeance hull was painted in deep, ominous black. Some argued that the black hull made the Vengeance too recognizable out in the open seas, so it lost the ability to sneak up on potential prey by pretending to be just another commercial vessel. But her captain, the feared pirate Bartholomew, knew it was much better to be recognized early on to strike fear in the hearts of the crew they were chasing. Which approach is better? No pirate was more successful and feared than Bartholomew. Not even close, so you tell me. In these early hours, the boat's 2 masts were still bare, waiting for their important cargo to arrive, but soon the tides would be right and the sails would fill with the morning breeze, taking the Vengeance out to the sea once more. Once aboard, Berenice, still hooded, was carefully escorted to the stern of the ship right beneath the poop deck, to the great cabin, the most significant room on the boat where the captain usually worked when he wasn't on deck. A large table in the center of the room was strewn with nautical charts and lit by 4 candle lamps. After Berenice sat down on the hard wooden chair, they removed the hood. It took a few moments for her eyes to adjust to the light. Across the table from her was a tall, handsome man, maybe in his late 30s, dressed comfortably in an off-white poet shirt, the type preferred by pirates. The man casually looked up and said to her with virtually no emotion whatsoever, "Hello, Mother. Welcome home." It was as if someone had knocked all of the wind out of Berenice's lungs. She was speechless, her mind blank from the shock. What in the world was happening? So I hope you enjoyed the reading of part of chapter 1 of the Storyteller's Tale. If you like that, go ahead and get the book. Get it for your children. Get it for the youth group in your church. It's got some beautiful spiritual elements to it, spiritual formation. You'll learn a lot about how to deal with hurts, how to deal with secrets, how to deal with forgiveness. So anyway, here's some questions, some dialogue statements that I thought about. Can you relate to the storyteller's difficulty to deal with those old secrets and the old wounds? How have you been taught to forgive such old wounds, and how has that worked for you? And lastly, can you relate to such a quest? So if you like this Vagabond Diary, please like it, subscribe, and forward it to a friend. If you really liked it, or your 10 to 15-year-old did, get the entire set on Kindle, Amazon, or Barnes & Noble. It's going to eventually be available on Audible as well, probably at the beginning of 2025. If you want more information, check out my author page, www.drbillsinyard.com. We'll see you on the next Vagabond Diary. Take heart, child of God.